Hey everyone, J-Ro here, back with another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video, and today I am bringing you my damage comparison video for the best Magic Wind DPS for the month of May and June of 2025. Alright, so before we get into it, if you could please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can be notified when I post new videos. Alright, so as you saw yesterday from the draw video, we got a new Magic Wind DPS and weapon in the Serrated Remiges. This is a very strong weapon in my opinion. It's pretty good, dealing 940% Magic Wind damage, no conditions, and it also gives enfeeble. So with that being introduced, I wanted to go ahead and get a test between Sephiroth and Cloud. Okay, so Cloud got his Magic Wind set up in December, right before the end of the year last year. So his was 940 at the time, 940%, and it has a conditional 1.2 times damage when the enemy is debuffed. Okay, so we're gonna just see today how well Cloud stacks up against, or should I say Sephiroth stacks up against the Cloud at OB10, and Sephiroth will be here at OB6, and then I'll go ahead and upgrade the weapon to OB10, and we will do one final run seeing what Sephiroth's true damage potential is with the way I have him built. Alright, okay, so before we get started, we will get into the builds for Aerith and Red 13 real quick, our support characters to give us our debuffs here. So let's jump in. Red 13 is bringing his Brilliant Collar that gives us our magic attack up and wind damage up. And then of course he's bringing Silver Collar for wind resist down. For his sub equips, he has 2 magic attack all weapons and an attack all weapon. Alright. Then going over to Aerith, we have her with the Bahamut's Robe, which is giving us a boost attack all. Then also we have the Crimson Staff giving us magic attack up and magic defense down on the enemy. And then we also will be bringing Flora Wand for another way to make sure we have our wind resist down, but also we can get that physical defense down just to get a chance to see some extra damage on the Odin Zentetsuken. Okay, all right. And of course Aerith is bringing the Princess Guard for her 3 additional ATB. And then for her sub equip, we have 1 extra magic attack all because of Crimson Staff having magic attack all. So that means her magic attack all is level 7, and then bringing 2 attack all weapons, bringing that to level 6 for her. Okay, all right, so these are the exact same on both characters. And for the sake of not doing any other damage when I do the summon, I'm using Healing Wind and Lunatic High, just so I can see what the damage for the Zentetsuken is, just straight off of the damage from Cloud and Sephiroth. Okay, so before we get into Cloud's build, let's take a look at High Wind right quick. So here is the stats. Here are the abilities. All right. And then Cloud unfortunately doesn't have anything unlocked in his string, which is going to play a big part in this damage comparison, because that means he doesn't have any additional magic attack, nor will he have the wind potency buff, unlike Sephiroth, who does have his roll stream upgraded. It's not fully upgraded, it's missing 9 nodes, but he has a boost of 300 additional magic attack and the 10% wind potency. And his overspeed does have the additional, 15%. His has an additional 15%, and his duration is 16 seconds compared to Cloud, who will only have the, going back over to Cloud right quick, compared to Cloud, who will only have just a -1 on ATB. So he doesn't have any additional stat boost when overspeed is activated. So that will play a role in the summoning, and it will also play a role in his actual damage number once it's activated. So the only benefit overspeed is for Cloud. So as you can see already, immediately Cloud just has a small disadvantage. But it's okay. So let's go ahead and get into his build right quick. Since we are here, he is running his holiday outfit. It's boosts wind potency and wind strike arcanum. In the main hand, we have the holiday blade. Mine is branded, so it has a 991%. It is normally a 940% weapon. It does provide the R abilities magic attack and wind potency. Next up, we have the lock sword. You could also, in this case, probably use the Mystic Sword. Similar R abilities, but you lose a little bit on ability potency, but you gain a little bit more in attack. But you probably want the ability potency if you have it. But Mystic Sword is a featured weapon that is in the wish list, so more accessible for people, okay? Lock Sword isn't here to do anything but be here for its R abilities of attack and ability potency. Then we are going to use his generic Ultimate Buster Sword for ability potency. Then on sub equips, both characters will have the exact same sub equips. We have Partisan for magic attack and wind potency. We have the Sawed Off GS for attack and magic ability potency. And we have the Bahamut Fang for magic attack all allies, magic ability potency. Alright. As far as materia is concerned, I'm using my strongest magic attack materia here for 13.9%. Then I have my best magic base wind potency Aurora, which is 9.8. And for the last but not least, the physical one, but it's an 11.3%, so it's like the highest wind potency buff I have. So both Sephiroth and Cloud will have the exact same material and the exact same sub weapons. The only thing that will be different is the, of course, main hands and off hands. So we are looking at with the material an additional 21.1% in wind potency damage, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our abilities right quick. For Cloud, we have magic attack is level 7, physical defense is level 3, attack is level 5, wind potency is level 9, ability potency is level 6, and magic ability potency is level 6, okay? With all of this, his stats do come out to be, with magic attack, 14.2k, alright? So now let's hop over and take a quick look at Sephiroth. As we just checked, we did see his overspeed roll string. So let's go ahead and take a look at his build I have here. So we have him in his new custom suit for physical magical ward in the wind spell Arcanum with HP plus, which is basically, instead of 35%, 30% damage. Then the attack stance gauge gives him an additional 20% in magic ability damage, and he also has an additional 15% of HP. Alright, so looking at the OB6 non-branded Serrated Remige, it's at 940%, and it will give us enfeeble for 25 seconds, the magic attack and wind potency. Alright, next up, Blade of the Worthy, which gives us not enfeeble, but our exploit weakness, giving us also the R abilities to boost attack our allies and ability potency. Then of course we are going to be running the Genji Blade. This will push his magic attack buff along with his physical attack buff up to the 4th tier for 30 seconds. Alright. Then looking over at sub equips, I have the exact same 3 sub equips from before, so I'll just show them and not go over them 100%. Alright. And then just for knowledge purposes, showing that these are the exact same 3 materia. Alright, so looking at the R abilities for Sephiroth, he has magic attack level 7. So with the combination of OB6 Serrated Remiges and OB10 Partisan, you can still manage to get that level 7 magic attack. Then attack level 3, wind potency is only level 6, it's only missing 2 points to go to level 7. Then the ability potency level 5, magic ability potency is level 6. So one less ability potency than Cloud, but it's very much workable. Okay. Then we go on over looking at his magic attack stat. It is 16k. Pretty strong. So he instantly has almost 2,000, a little under 2,000 more points for his magic attack over Cloud. But like I said, take into consideration that his overspeed is built almost fully. It's missing one line actually. Like I said, his additional 15% -1 ATB and duration is 16 seconds. So he's going to be able to hit a little bit harder, a little bit longer than Cloud is going to be able to do. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And then like I said, we will come back and upgrade his new weapon to OB10 so we can see what the real damage looks like. Alright, so how we're going to do this, we're going to start off with Cloud going into battle and going ahead and get his test done. Then we'll go over to Sephiroth, get his test done. Then we will upgrade Sephiroth's weapon and then go back in for our final test and to give our final thoughts. Alright, well, that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and look at some damage numbers. Alright, so let's start off getting our buffs going. We're going to go ahead and go over the grid, get our wind damage up. Aerith is going to get us our magic defense down, magic attack up, and our wind resist down as well. Okay. Alright, so Cloud doesn't have to use his ultimate weapon, so alright, let's see what he's doing for damage here. This will be the first hit. Okay, 2.38 million, not bad. 2.32 million. Those are some pretty strong hits, I'm not gonna lie. 2.38 million. And just a reminder that he doesn't have any extra boost to his stats from his roll stream, nor when I activate the overspeed, he will have boosted damage. He won't have it at all. All Cloud's overspeed is a -1 on ATB because his roll stream has not been upgraded. Alright, we're in the last 30 seconds here. Alright, looking good on all our debuffs. Alright. Gonna be able to get all our stuff in. Okay, there we go. We got our magic attack up and our wind damage is up. Alright. And activating the overspeed. Alright. And now we're gonna get us Intensican in. Alright, so we hit 4.85 million for his Intensican. Nice. Alright, so that will conclude the Cloud testing portion of the video, ending him out with 30,434,190 damage. Not bad, not bad at all for a character from 6 months ago. That's actually pretty strong. My main takeaways, of course, are the simple fact that Cloud does not have access to exploit weakness. He doesn't have access to enfeeble in this case, unlike what we're about to see with Sephiroth. And also his roll stream is not upgraded, so his damage is significantly stifled versus what Sephiroth is going to be, because Sephiroth will have an additional 15% damage buff when overspeed is activated as well. But the summon damage looked pretty good at 4,857,289 And the best single hit we did was 2,387,818. Like I said, pretty strong. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop over to Sephiroth and see how well he does at OB6. Alright, so here we are testing out Sephiroth. So unlike Cloud, we're going to go ahead and get the exploit weakness going, get the same buffs going with Red and Era, and we will actually be pushing his damage up higher with his ultimate weapon, going up to a 4th tier of magic attack up. Alright, and this will be the first proper hit with the command gauge full, and it is 4.14 million. That's pretty good. Wow. 4.3 million. 4.9. Okay, pretty strong. Alright. And of course, now also I forgot to add in there that Enfeeble is active off after that first hit he did. So just watch how the Enfeeble is just staying up the entire time. I mean, this is pretty strong. Alright, about time to refresh that exploit weakness. And get ready to use overspeed. Alright. Got our exploit weakness back up. Alright. Still sitting at 4 tier magic attack up, so that's good. Alright, and we got our overspeed going, hitting for 4.74. Let's see, 4.77. Getting one more in before we go into the test again. 4.66 mil. And let's find out what the famine damage looks like. Woohoo! 11,473,000. Nice. Alright, so that will conclude this portion of the damage testing video for the OB6 version of the Serrated Remiges. Alright, so looking at it, it ends out with 52,661,664, which is pretty strong with a single hit. That the highest single hit was 4,143,479. Once overspeed was activated, the best hit was 4,772,475, and then the Zentetsuken damage was 11,473,652. Now, all these are considered with the fact that Enfeeble is active because of the fact of it's being built into this DPSing weapon, along with the fact that he does have that additional stat boost from the overspeed, the roll string, and then of course he also has access to one more tier of magic attack up that Cloud does not have. So all those factors, and of course exploit weakness as well. So all these factors, he's hitting for an additional 22 million damage versus Cloud. So yeah, it's pretty strong indeed. All right, so well, we've tested out OB6. Let me know in the comment section what you think about OB6. Now let's go ahead and hop back over to the character screen and build this weapon to OB10 and come back and test it one last time to see what Sephiroth really can do. Alright, I'll see you there. Alright, and we're back. Let's go ahead and look into upgrading Sephiroth Serrated Remiges. So let's go ahead here, hit enhance. We will hit specified tier. We will check the weapon parts, but we will go to OB10. That's all we need is 14 extra weapon parts, and there we go. Now we have it at OB10. Getting that damage up to 1,120%. All right. Now let's go ahead and see what changed with the R abilities for the build. I'm not going to change any of the sub weapons. All right, so the magic attack, of course, was only at 55 points, so that gave me that cushion to make it 61 points. Wind potency went up to level 8 from level 6. Wow. So upgrading from OB6 to OB10 took me up 2 levels of wind potency, meaning now his damage is 100% versus he does 100% damage versus the 70%, so 30% more wind potency damage there. Okay, now let's look at his stat line. It went up to 16,332, where before it was 16,084. So pretty strong. It went up by 300 points. A little under 300. Okay. Well. Alright, so we've done our upgrade. Let's go ahead and see what Sephiroth really can do. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to get our exploit weakness going, get our wind damage up. We're going to get our wind resist down. We're going to get our magic attack up and magic defense down. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and push our magic attack to the 4th tier. Alright. Enfeeble is now active and command gauge is now full. Hitting for 5.44 million. 5.47. Oh my goodness. 5.45. This is some insane damage. My goodness. 5.4 million. Okay. Alright. Getting ready. It's about that time to refresh that exploit weakness. Here it comes. Alright. And see, the enfeeble just has not gone away at all. Alright. 5.5 million. Alright, time to hit that overspeed. 6.3 million under overspeed. My goodness. 6.2 million. Okay, 6.1 million. Alright, let's get this Intoxicant in before the overspeed goes away. $12.6 million? Whoa. Alright, so that will conclude the OB10 testing portion of the damage testing video. And my God, ending out with 67,142,544 in damage total, with a single hit of, without the overspeed, of 5,502,355. With the overspeed, the highest hit was 6,306,574, and then the Odin damage was 12,621,454. Very strong. The difference between OB6 to OB10 is crazy. I guess with the difference of the wind potency going up from level 6 to level 8, meaning you get that additional 30%, but then the damage potency went up pretty high too. Comparing that to Cloud in general, it just eclipses Cloud entirely, which was pretty much expected, but even more so because of all of the other little minor things that were added in for Sephiroth, especially with him having exploit weakness in this weapon. Also, just comparing to just the OB6 version of the weapon, he's hitting at least for another extra million per hit in each category of single target hit, single target overspeed, and summon damage. And even the total damage difference was 14 million. My goodness. Alright, so with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching the video. If you found it informative or enjoyable, remember to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. Click the notification bell so you can be notified when I post that content. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Later.